Hey. Welcome to Come On You Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. Today we are doing a review of the match between Tottenham and Fulham away at Craven Cottage in the Carabao Cup. Final scores, Fulham won, Tottenham won, Fulham come away winners on penalties. But to join me on the other side to review this, I've got a couple of guests, and you meet them on the other side. In the meantime, come on ye Spurs. Welcome back. This is Come On You Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. To join me in reviewing this match, I've got Jose. We call him Eltel from Eltel TV. Is that right there, Jose? Jose, can you hear me? I'm not sure Jose can hear me. Jose, I can't hear you. Oh, can you hear me? Oh, it's frozen. Folabi is also here as well. Yeah, they'll try and get Jose back. It looks like his screen is frozen. We'll try and get him back in the meantime. Yes, Tottenham away to Fulham in the Carabao Cup. Fulham winning on penalties, and Tottenham we just went at the races today. If this is your first time here, please hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button as well if you're here for the first time. We welcome you, and for those of you who have been here and supporting us, we are more than truly grateful. Right, where do we even start? I mean, Folabi, do you want to start with this for us, or I mean, do you want me to go first? You look like you're on the move, Folabi.
Yeah, you go first. That's why I said I'm on my phone, because I just arrived yesterday night.
Okay, so I mean, this was one match when I think this is one of Ange's first lessons as a coach. You know, first blip, if you like. I think we've got Jose back. Jose, can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Yeah, we lost you for a second there. Welcome, Jose. Jose, it's your first time on the channel. Do you want to do a quick, brief introduction? How are you?
Yeah, not bad. My name's Jose, and I could hear what you were saying, but I just froze.
Oh, okay.
My name's Jose. I've got my own channel, Eltel Cockerel. Just started out, and I thank Soji very much for inviting me on here today.
Fantastic. All right, Eltel Cockerel. If you haven't, we'll try and put your name on the your link on the description. Please go there. Subscribe to his channel. You know, he talks everything Spurs as well. And yeah, Jose is an avid Spurs fan. How long have you been a Spurs fan, Jose?
48 years, possibly.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Right. So that gives you an indication of that. It's more or less seen it all, eh?
Your post, huh?
Say that again.
I said congratulations. I was just saying congratulations to Jose.
Thank you.
Right. So we go away to Tottenham. We go away to Fulham. This is our first cup game away in the Ange Postecoglou era, and of course, I mean, we haven't won anything in a very long time. Everyone's hopeful that, I mean, you know, but tough opposition. Fulham, no pushovers by any stretch of the imagination. And we just didn't seem to click into gear today. I don't know what happened. Was it the wholesale changes made? Got 9 changes from the last game. You know, some felt maybe he could have possibly made fewer changes, and maybe that wouldn't have had an impact on the outcome. But on the other hand, you have those who take the view that, look, you've got to give the so-called fringe players a chance, you know, because if you don't give them game time in matches like this, when would they get a game time? You know, and it's one of these things that swings around about. I mean, if he works very well, you're a genius. If it doesn't work, you know, you're a muppet. Jose, What's your take on this one?
It's quite well for me. It's right. Where do I start with it? Dissect it. Right, for me, nine changes. I expected about 4 changes. Is what I expected.
Right.
Me myself, I thought we'd probably make about 4 changes. When I saw the line, I was on the train on the way, and when I saw the lineup, I thought, oh my god, he's gone for a wholesale change here. However, what I will say is that I'm not going to pick too much at it because I trust in Ange 100%. So therefore, if Ange believes that that's the best side that he could put out, or for his reasons, then I'm going to back him, win, draw or lose. We've happened to have lost the game on penalties. I personally would have only made 4 changes and not made all 9. Like I just said to you as we were coming on, the 2 players that had the least amount of game time and the least amount of pre-season and game time were Solomon and Lo Celso. For me, you could have changed all 11 at half time, to be honest. But I was just, as I asked you, Soji, I was interested to find out why did we take off Lo Celso? I couldn't understand why we took Lo Celso off. I thought if anything, I thought the front 3 were poor, and they could have all come off before Lo Celso did. But yeah, as I said, Ange decided that's the team that he wanted to go with, and yeah, we win, lose or draw, I back the manager.
Yeah, I mean, Jose, thanks for that. So, I mean, it's a really difficult one for me. There's so many comments coming in. I've got some. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can bring up the comments. If you just bear with me 1 second, I'll see if we can bring up the comments. Right. the guns are out already. Oh my goodness. Someone says Postecoglou out now. That is ridiculous. No, I mean, come on. I mean, what do you think? So this is someone saying Postecoglou out now. You know, now.
Who said that? Who said that?
Mike Oxnell Graham. I mean, Mike. I mean, of course, I mean, also that's the opinion, but hey,
yeah.
I mean, listen. The ultimate thing is this. I mean, if you look at what David Clark says, which I mean, Dave, thanks for the contribution. Keep your comments coming in. This is Common Use Spurs TV. If you're here for the first time, please leave your comments. You know, like, share, and and just let's have this as very, very interactive. Right. Dave says that look, this result is 100% on Ange. He made a statement that he'll make changes, but not just to give a player a game. Then he makes it fool of himself and makes 9 changes. Now, yeah, again, like I was saying to you off air, I don't know. I say, look, ultimately, if this had worked out fantastic, it would have been a genius, right? It didn't work out, so it looks really, really bad. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I guess ultimately it's his decision. He's got to live and die by it because I mean, he gets paid all the money, to make this decision. So yeah, I mean, I mean, you says that look, the first half was wasted,
What's surprising, Soji, in pre-season, okay, it's not a Premiership game and it's not a Carabao Cup game, but in pre-season we saw a lot of these players playing in pre-season, and then in the 2 games that we played, Shakhtar and Barcelona, he stuck 2 different sides out, so that means every 22 players got run-outs. Yeah, he's had them on the training pitch, so therefore Postecoglou's decided that yeah, I'll make the 9 changes. He must have had the belief that the players were going to wear the shirt with pride and do the club credit. And if anything, they looked really disjointed in the first half. They looked like they hadn't played together before, and they looked like they didn't know each other in the first half. So it's quite disjointed.
Yeah, the first half was absolute abysmal. I mean, okay, fine. I mean, Fulham had all the chances. But we just didn't seem to get going at all. I mean, I don't know if I said this to you earlier on. I thought maybe if you'd made it's easier to easy to look back and say, okay, maybe if you had done this or done that, things might have been different. I mean, I was saying that perhaps again, I'm not the coach, so that's why he gets paid all that money. Yeah, I mean, I would have had Bissouma, and perhaps Sa starting instead of Skip and Hoiberg, But I mean, there you go. But we've seen that happen, and we've seen what happened in the end. Now we gave away quite a few chances. They scored. Okay, the goal was a bit of lucky on their side, but that was not just down to luck. I mean, if you look at all of the chances that they made, I mean, they kept pressing on getting to those sort of positions. If we weren't in the position in the first place, that wouldn't have gone in. I mean, so that, I guess from that perspective, it was an unfortunate deflection from our perspective. But again, you had to be there to take that chance. Fola, are you all set now? You look like you're frozen. I don't know if you're there. Fola, can you hear us?
Who, me?
Yes.
I can hear you. I'm listening. I can hear you.
Oh, your screen looked frozen. Yeah. What do you have to say? I mean, any thoughts on that?
Well, what I have to say is, I mean, look, everybody knows that first half was just a diabolical performance. They showed no passion. They showed no interest. Look, even if they play together, even if it's the first time they're all playing together, they're professionals. They train together day in, day out. Okay? Yes, I do agree that maybe 9 changes was a bit too much. I do agree 9 changes was a bit too much, but it's done. Okay? You've been working on this system all week. So you all know you've been working on this system. You've been working on this format for the whole week since Saturday. Okay, so you've had 1 day, but you're a professional, for Lord's sake. You're a professional. And it's not the first time that I don't even know what Skip was doing. As far as I'm concerned, Skip was just running around with like a headless chicken. Let's also, I don't know why he came off as early as he did. The front three were just well, let's put it like this. I don't mind losing, but lose with a performance. There was no performance there. There was no heart. There was no passion. There was no pride of the crest. So that's for me was the most disappointing thing for this evening.
Yeah, I mean, Nick says everyone on the Spurs side acted like they were not happy to play with each other, or with other B team players. I mean, yeah, I mean, someone's mentioned the fact that they didn't look happy together today. I mean, there was no press, there was no, the sort of attacking verve we've shown in the last few games, last couple of I mean, we had 3 games so far in the Premier League, and each of those games, you've seen us pressing with verve, you've seen us, moving as a unit, and generally, creating transitions very, very quickly and pressing and choking the lives out of the opposition. But today, that did not just seem to happen. And I guess ultimately, you've got to, like I said, he's got to take the blame. I mean, Dave from Leicester. Dave, thank you for your comments. He says that what does Dave say? He says yes, it's from Leicester. Apart from, how did he put it now? He says apart from the Perisic, he predicted the lineup, because he thought he would keep Son only because he was a captain. Yeah. What do you think, Jose?
What about what about the lineup?
Yeah, because he was saying that he predicted. What lineup did you predict? What did you predict in your own lineup? What did you think you'd have? I mean,
I thought Vicario would have played in goal.
Right.
I didn't see Fraser Forster playing in goal tonight. I thought it was Vicario would play in goal straight off the bat. I thought Vicario would play in goal. I thought to myself that
Where is it?
I thought that the changes that he would make, I thought he might have changed the front three, and I thought he might have changed a midfielder and possibly one defender. So 4 changes, 2 up top, 1 in midfield, 1 at the back. That's what I thought he would do. I thought 4 changes was what he was going to make. When I realised that we had no Porro, no Doggy, no Romero, I thought to myself, oh, okay, you're taking 3 of the back line out. That's a lot of people to take out. The back line have been playing well. That's a lot of people to take out your back line for a game. I thought maybe take 1 defender out, but not to take 3. He flipped. He did it the other way around. In midfield, it's easy to say after the game, but when I saw the midfield 3, and I knew that Paulinho was playing for Fulham, he was in the lineup to start, I thought to myself, well, without Boss Suma, I call him the boss, Bossuma there. without Boss, Paulinho's going to walk through our midfield, is what I thought.
And he did.
And he did because Skip was chasing shadows with him, and so was Højbjerg. And the other thing I'd say is if you've got players in your team, he's played players today in the team that are looking to get away from the club. I see no sense in why he's played them. I think that I think that what you do is you play these players and you start rotating players if you need to start rotating them. You start doing that after the transfer window closes, not before the transfer window. Stick the players that you're going to stick with that you trust all the way up to the transfer window. Some players would have to be reintegrated because they're going to still be with us, but those that are not would have gone by then. So when you look at Højbjerg and you look at Sanchez, there's 2 possible players that might have a chance of leaving. And I'm not blaming Sanchez for the penalty in that because the penalty can be missed by anyone. But Sanchez and Højbjerg playing, I found that baffling. Them both starting today as well.
Well, you got a fair point there, but again, we don't know what's going to happen in the transfer window, and we don't know who's going for sure, and all of that. And I think at the same time, if you think about it, I mean, you've got to play with what you've got. That's what he always does anyway. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the season, I mean, he's got to sort of use what he has for the sake of the team. And I guess with the benefit of hindsight, we say that okay, maybe he didn't make the right choices in terms of the wholesale changes. But I mean, where was the bright spark today? I mean, if you want to think about it, I mean, for me the only bright spark.
But like I said though, and I said this in my intro to start with earlier, we've lost the game now. We drew the game, but we've lost on penalties. Right.
Yeah.
So to me, we actually didn't get beaten on the 90 minutes. We got beaten on penalties. So to me, we're still undefeated for the season. What I will say, like I said at the start of my intro, is that you've got to take the rough with the smooth. So therefore, win, lose or draw, I'm backing Ange 100%. I trust in him. He's made a decision today. The decision hasn't paid off and it hasn't come off for us. We're now out of the cup in the second round. But I still trust in Ange. I can't turn around and say, oh, Ange, this and that today, and then praise him for what he did Saturday. Yeah. At the end of the day, I trust Ange. So trusting Ange 100% means you go with the ride with him, win, lose or draw.
And that's what it's got to be, I guess. I mean, thank you very much, Lily White Lane. Thank you for joining us. Meta Football TV. Good evening. Thank you for joining us as well. It says that players that they haven't played a lot of Premiership games thought they were too big to play in the cups. That's an interesting perspective. Now, I guess what if most players want to sort of get to play, if you like, and if you don't play, you sort of feel either you feel left out, and I mean, even if in so-called cup games, some would take the view that okay, maybe like I said earlier on, he should have made fewer changes. One, and if you're going to make those sort of wholesale changes, perhaps you'll have done it against what you might call lesser opposition, not another Premier League club, not away to a Premier League club, And I mean, someone's saying here that even a team like City, who like pace setters, who blast everyone. He says that even City bringing a couple of youth players, that's why they won the League Cup 5 times on the trot. I mean, I think he's got a point there. Folabi, what do you think?
Well, we don't have that luxury, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to play with who you've got, and we don't have that luxury. So I believe that you knew who you were playing. You knew they were going to come out strong. You should have come out with a strong team. I can understand that he wants to give playing time, and yes, we always say give the fringe players playing time, playing time, playing time. But you mix and match. Again, I mean, performance of this game was Foster, our keeper. You know, so when they say the keeper is your best player on the field, that tells you a lot.
Hmm.
That should be telling you something. You
Hmm.
know,
I had
Yeah.
that
no
should be telling you
confidence
something.
whatsoever. I had no confidence whatsoever that Forster was going to save any of the penalties. He for 3 of the 5, he didn't even move. He never moved for 3 of the 5 of the penalties. I
Oh,
had no
that's
confidence. Him getting down, Forster getting down. Saw it last season as well. Came in for when Lloris was injured. He did do well, Forster, last year, but I watched a lot of him like this, my hands over my eyes last season, because to me, he goes down. He can't get down quickly enough.
yeah.
Do you see what I mean? If he makes a save, it's because he's hit his legs and stuff like that. But if you watch him to get down on the floor, what is he, 6'6", 6'7"? It takes him a long time to get down, and therefore I had no trust whatsoever in him saving a penalty. And he didn't. They scored all 5. Scored all 5, and he got near none of them.
Yeah, I mean it's a disappointing result for us. I mean, let's just talk. I mean, you saw the first goal, right? Folabi, right? Do you
Yeah.
talk us through the first goal?
Well, it came from pressure. It came from pressure from them. You know, it was as usual Sanchez's side. Sanchez and Emerson Royal. I mean, the guy is dribbling both of them in the penalty area, not once, not twice, 3 times. Takes it back out, does a cross or shot, and VDV unfortunately trying to hook it out, pushes it in. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he unfortunately miskicks it and it becomes an own goal. You know? So, and they've been coming. That goal has been coming because they had just been pressurizing from the first whistle. That goal had been coming. And Spurs were not awake. And as you said, and those defenders could not cope. There were far too many changes in that defense line. And we
Okay.
had no midfield. And it was the same issue of last season. When you have no midfield, your defense is in trouble because they'll just walk over you and run through you, which is exactly what happened. That goal had been coming. And we were lucky. We didn't even go 2-0 down at half time.
Yeah, I mean, we lost to we lost unfortunate goal. They had a few more chances, which I think Foster made a few saves in that first half. I think one from Cordova Reed, and then I think another one from I'm not sure if it was Tetia. So, but I think the bright spark for me, if you like, today was Richarlison actually getting on the score sheet. He got that monkey off his back, didn't he? Jose, do you want to talk us through Richarlison's goal? I mean, you have your hands on your face, like.
Okay, I've never up until now, I have never ever said anything Negative. I've always thought, give the boy a chance. Kane was there. Give him a chance. Kane's gone. He's played 3 games plus tonight. I cannot see what value he adds to Tottenham. I really can't. Tonight was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. His first touch is absolutely. It's not even tier 3 football. Tier 4 football. His first touch is awful. He, the ball ricochets off him. He can't control it. The ball ricochets off him. He runs into players. He runs into players. You know, and I just thought to myself, he got a goal, and the only reason why he got a goal was Perisic put it right on a plate for him, and if he had missed that, God, I don't know what would have happened then. But to me, he, I don't know what we've done. I think we've bought ourselves a dud, and I think I don't know for sure, but I think Postecoglou sees that they've got a dud as well. But with Tottenham being Tottenham, they spent £60 million on the player last season. I said in the stream the other day that for some reason, and I don't know why, but Mr. Ancelotti at Real Madrid likes the player. Now, Mr. Ancelotti was going to go to. There was rumours that he was going to go and manage the Brazilian national side, but he stayed on with Madrid for a further season. And there was talk about them coming in to bid for Richarlison because they've got no centre forward because Mbappe's now not going to Madrid. But what's happened now is last week Vinicius Junior, they played against Celta Vigo on Friday. Vinicius Junior got injured. Now, what Real Madrid have been doing, because they haven't got a number 9, they've now played Bellingham in the hole and Vinicius Junior and Rodrigo up front, or the forward 2. But now they've lost Vinicius Junior as well. So I'm now hoping, and I'm really hoping that Ancelotti comes in and says, I want Richarlison. Because do you know what? I will help him move. I'll pay for him to fly to Madrid straight away.
Oh my gosh! But
because at the end of the day,
Jose, don't you think you're being a little bit unfair to him? I'll tell you why I say that. Because if you think about it, right, he's never really had a long run in the team. Last season he was injured for most of it. I mean, he came back and then he got injured, and so it's really had very, very patchy run in the team. And then he comes in this season when he's not meant to play a lead role in the team as what you might call frontline striker. I mean, and with a new system that he's not really been playing in, so it's all a bit too much. And you can see him trying, because what I find with Richarlison is that even if he doesn't score, he still creates enough chances in terms of openings. I mean, harassing defenders and making runs that sort of takes defenders away and makes room for other people to get goals in.
Soji, you have a kind heart. That's all I can say, Soji. You have a kind heart. I thought I had a kind heart, and I like to speak truthfully. And at the end of the day, at Everton, and I've heard so many people say it, his highest ever goal scoring season was 13. And I thought to myself, do you know what? Give the boy a chance. Give the boy a chance. Give the boy a chance. I've seen him for 3 games now, and he's been atrocious. I watched him tonight, and I thought to myself, this is the straw that broke the camel's back. He's not gonna get any better. He's reached his ceiling. He will not get any better. Doesn't matter what Ange does with him. He's not going to get any better. You can't coach someone at 26, 27 years of age on how to trap a ball first time with the first touch. You learn that when you're young. You don't learn that when you're 27. And the thing is that people can say he causes mayhem, and people can say that. But the reason why he causes mayhem is because he doesn't know what he's doing himself. So he causes mayhem to himself and then to his opponents. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, I thought to myself, the kindest thing, I thought when Scarlett was coming, I thought Scarlett should have come on for him rather than Lo Celso. But when they took him off and brought Son on, I thought it was the kindest thing to do, is take him off. I would be shocked, very shocked, and I'm going to say this now, I'd be very shocked if Postecoglou started him against Burnley.
Oh wow! Now I'm getting all sorts of comments here. Now,
Go on then.
it's Meta Football TV says, "Please thank your guest for the tour of his house." Folabi, that's for you.
Oh my God! Oh God!
God.
God! Oh God! You know, I told you I just arrived and everything,
I know,
and I've got.
right?
I
And
arrived
that's
last
okay.
night. I've got all
Right.
sorts of things going on in my house, and I'm trying to keep
No,
my house quiet.
that's okay.
You know,
Yeah,
people want to
David
make
said,
noise and everything.
Dave Clark said, David got skinned worse than a dead rabbit. Oh my goodness. Keep your comments coming in. You know, be nice, guys. Be nice, be nice. You know, it's as if the whole team was playing like Richarlison. Gosh. Everyone's like having a go today at Richarlison, right? And Jose says that,
It won't be the first time.
I know, right? Now, have you got anything nice to say about Richarlison, Folabi?
Well, my take on him is I'm quite surprised. I don't know what's going on in his head with him because he just doesn't seem the same player he was at Everton. That's number
But he was,
one.
but he was no good at Everton. He was no good at Watford. I can't understand it. He's not been any good
God.
anywhere he's been.
Okay, he's Brazil's number 9.
That's the only thing that's positive.
Well, you know, so to be Brazil's
Well,
number 9, there must be something. You can't just be your national number 9 for your national team, especially Brazil.
well, I
And
guess. Oh, sorry to interrupt you, Folabi. But we, everyone says that I mean number 9 from Brazil, but Brazil has not been known to produce amazing number 9s. You know, I mean, if you think
Oh,
about
they
it,
have, but only in the past. In the
yeah.
past, they had amazing number 9s, but now they haven't. But what you'll find
Oh,
is
wait,
that
that's the team that produced Serginho. Remember that guy who was?
oh God, don't go there! Don't go there, please! Don't go there! Don't that World Cup, please! Don't go there! Do not go there! Look, Richarlison is better than that one. Please don't go there.
listen,
Don't go there.
not too long ago, they had Ronaldo, they
True.
had
Yes,
Bebeto, they had Romario. Listen, in the last 10, 20 years, Brazil had proper 9s. This man
they
is not
did.
a proper 9. Now, what will happen is, and I'll tell you now, crystal ball, when's the next World Cup? 2 years' time.
Yeah.
Next year.
Yeah.
2 years'
Right,
time.
2 years, 3 years
No,
time.
the last
In
3
2
years'
years.
time. The last World Cup was only last
Only
year.
last year, yeah.
Okay, right. So when they play their Copa America or when the next World Cup comes around, he will no longer be. He won't be the number 9. He will no longer be in the squad because Brazil are producing youngsters now that are coming through, and they'll have a youngster that will be lined up to take that number 9 spot. They may even go down the route of playing Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior and Vinny up front. He will no longer. The manager from Brazil must be watching this and doing that as well. It's got to be.
Listen, it's a process. It's a process, right? And I mean, and this is just
You
Ange
don't have
coming
time
in.
for a process. I'm sorry. You don't have time for this process. We need goals. We need goals. The lucky thing, we have goals coming from all different areas right now. You know, that is the one thing going for Spurs. And Spurs are playing some good attacking football. But what showed me today, what showed me is Basuma is underrated. Everybody is shouting he's great, he's great, he's been playing. Even the great that he's been playing, he's still been underrated. The greatness that everybody's been shouting, the 2 matches of Man of the Match, 2 awards he's got and everything. Today's performance from that our midfield showed me just how underrated even his performances, as great as they've been, are underrated. I have watched a couple of games and he is so calm and collective on the ball. He knows what he's going to do, and he gets us out of situations that we don't even realize as fans. It makes play so easy for somebody like Madison to be able to be doing what he's doing. Because if Basuma is not in that heart of that midfield defensively, Madison will not be getting as much ball as he's getting.
Interesting. Right. Meta Football TV says I can see a dot when I see one. Richarlison is the dial of strikers. Now, I mean, okay, so fair enough. I mean, I've got a positive comment at last from Youth. You says that he feels the love of Brazil fans when he plays, and he scored 13 goals in the last 16 games for Brazil. I mean, that's the player there somewhere. There is a player there. I mean, without question. Why he's not performed so far? Okay, he's had a lot. He had injuries last season. He's just coming back into his own. Like I said, I mean, he hasn't really gotten going. I mean, he's got a goal today, which is a plus, and he got taken off in the second half. Now, for me, I mean, I think he's got to be given, I mean, a longer run in the team. I mean, 3 games is nothing, 3 games is nothing.
Okay, but he played 30 games last year and got 1 goal. So how many more games he got to play?
How many games did he play last season?
30 appearances last year, scored 1 goal. How many more games has he got to play?
Yeah, but when
30 in the EPL.
Yeah, 30 games, and he scored 1 goal.
30 games. Maybe in the cups, in the Champions League and all that. Not in the
because he scored 2 against Marseille, but I'm not including Champions League games. Because he scored 2 goals against Marseille, and I'm not including Champions League games. So
he wouldn't have played 30 games last season. He wouldn't have played 30 games last season. He was injured for most of last season. I mean, and then he came on after the World Cup. Remember after the World Cup he was injured. So I mean, if you look at his record, I'm pretty sure that if you're going to look at the stats,
I'm gonna look at it now.
Look at it. But hey, I mean, like you said, Perisic is gonna feed. This is his first game together. Perisic will feed Richie, and this is, I mean, hopefully he'll come up and score.
Okay, sorry, I'll take that back. He's played 30 games for Tottenham. He played 27 last year and scored 1 goal. He's played 3 matches in the EPL this year and scored none. So in 30 games for Tottenham, he has scored 1 goal. Name me another striker in the Premier League, whether he's the first or second striker, who has a worse record than Richarlison. Tell me. I dare you to tell me.
But you know what, Jose, stats can be used to say so much, right?
But my eyes, I know we're all 3 of us wear glasses, yeah? And I've got glasses on. My eyes don't lie. My eyes don't fail me. I see what I see when he plays. So I'm forgetting about stats. I see what my eyes see, and he's not good enough.
Do you know how many goals he scored that were offside last season? By margins. How many goals did he score that were offside last season that were by marginal offsides?
Yeah, because the stats on the record books count everyone's offside goals.
I'm saying that, look, he was getting in the right positions. He just hasn't come up for him, This is only his 2nd season. So, I mean, we had last season, Bissouma hardly featured in last season at all. He hardly featured. And everyone thought, oh, we paid £25 million for a player. Can't even play him. And, I mean, some people are saying that, oh, get rid of him. But all of a sudden...
Conte didn't want him.
Sorry? Yeah, Conte didn't want him. That's what I'm saying,
Conte didn't want him either. So, at the end of the day, Conte didn't want him. I don't think Ange wants him either. I just think Ange has been told, 60 million pounds worth of player, we can't offload him. We got to do something with him. Is what I think he's been told.
No, what I was actually saying was that last season, Bissouma hardly got a look in that team, and this season he's coming and he's like the heartbeat of that team,
Yeah,
Now,
and I agree with you. I live down on the south coast, Soji, right?
Mhm.
And the nearest Premiership side to where I live, 33 miles away, is Brighton. So down where I live, everyone down here supports Brighton, and everyone down that supports Brighton says that at the moment, watching Boss play for the first 3 games, they said that we've got an upgraded version to what they had at Brighton when they sold him to Tottenham. They're saying that he's better now in the first 3 games of Tottenham than he was for Brighton, and they rated him at Brighton. Last season was dead because Basuma was injured for practically the whole of the season. Basuma only came in for the last, 6, 7 games of the season. Other than that, Basuma was injured. Richarlison wasn't injured for that long last season because Richarlison played 27 league games.
Yeah, but
Basuma,
how many games
Basuma,
did he? How long did he play in those games? Some games he played 6 minutes, some games he played 10 minutes. Coming in second half, and he played right. I mean, he played. I mean, off the wings. It took not his natural position. He's a central striker, and so it's like when you play him out of position, you don't play him in what his natural role is, and then you give him big parts in the course of the season, and then you're playing dire what I call counterproductive football the way Conte was playing. I mean, it's all a recipe for disaster if you ask me. I think he's going to score a bag full of goals this season. You watch it. He's going to score a bag full of goals this season.
for Real Madrid.
Anyway,
Ancelotti, come on, Carlo, come and buy him. Take him off our
I'd love
hands.
to hear from. I'd love to hear from you if you think Richie deserves a run in the team. I mean, I'm getting loads of comments about how great Richie is. How good he's not.
You've not caught up with all the comments then, Soji.
I know, right? Anyway, yeah. So yeah, keep your comments coming in. Thank you. This is Common Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. If you're here for the first time, hit the subscribe button. If you also want to sort of join, Jose is joining us as a guest. He has his Jose was Elgato Cockroach TV, right? Is that correct?
No, it's just called Elgato Cockroach, but I've put it into the guest chat. I've put my link in the guest chat.
Oh, beautiful. Right. So thank you so much. So please join Jose's channel and just subscribe to his channel, please. Yes. That'll be great if you could do that, please. Yeah. Right. So Levi expect Ange to work miracles with players that just aren't good enough. I don't expect much from this season. Now, here we go again. Now, I'm not sure this is about Daniel Levy. I'm sorry. I have to disagree with you on this one, Meta Football TV, because I mean, come on. He had this same group of players that he's done wonders with them. I mean, and is that Levi's fault that he's done what he's done with them? I'm sorry. I don't get it. So can we sort of I mean, so who are the players that should be gotten rid of? Sanchez, okay, fine. Sanchez. We only just got Mana Solomon. Mana Solomon didn't really do much today for me. I mean, he did next to nothing today, And you would have thought that him playing against his old club, would have been some sort of push for him, would have given him something. Okay, he had a shot that was saved by the keeper, came to Scarlett. Unfortunately, he got to him rather quickly. So, I mean, he really didn't do that much today either. I mean, I'm not sure where what this has got to do with Levi, to be honest. This same team we saw in preseason, this same team we've seen, I mean, okay, fine, he's made 9 changes. I mean, so far, but of all the starting players over the course of the season so far, okay, it's only 3 games in. I think they've given a good account of themselves, and it's more or less the same squad. I mean, give or take. Okay, Madison is, I mean, is a new addition. Van der Ven is new, and the goalkeeper. But apart from that, most people are the same old guys who got. I mean, for
Basuma's new because he didn't play last year. Pap Sarr is new because he didn't get a chance last season either.
Yeah,
these players are new. Doggy's new. Doggy's new as well. Pedro Porro is new because he's being coached to play properly at right back now as an inverted right back and not as a crazy guy that he was when he first came to us.
Yeah, but
we have got a lot of new players. If you look at it like that, we've got a lot of new players. Now, the one thing I will say, someone made a comment earlier about Manchester City. Didn't they say something about they only make 5 changes? The issue that we've got is that we're not Manchester City. Manchester City have been in a process for 14 years. Since 2009, I think. So 13, 14 years. Manchester City have been in a process where they have improved, regurgitate, changed squad, and they've got to where they are now. We're only just starting on our journey with Postecoglou. And therefore, we're not going to have a squad or have built up a squad like Manchester City have got over 14 years. We're starting to do that now. And, it's going to be one of them that it's going to take time to build. But what highlighted it tonight for me, more so, is when you've got the AFCON coming up in January, we're going to lose Pap and we're going to lose Bosuma. Yeah, them two will lose to it, right? Then, if you're looking to sell Højbjerg, you're looking to sell Sanchez, you're looking to sell this player and that player, you need to bring people in straight away for these players, because tonight we could see that when we made 9 changes, we're short. So before we sell any players between now and Friday, we're really short. Today's game proved that. After our starting 11, we're really short still as a squad, and that's without selling anyone between now and Friday.
Okay, so let's have a look at the squad. I mean, as it is now. So in the goalkeeping department, we have Foster, right? Foster's coming today. He's done a reasonably good job. Okay, fine. He did not that great in penalties, but I mean, he's made crucial saves to keep us in the game at different points, and when he was asked to do so. I mean, probably not the best with his feet, but I think is adequate, if I want a better expression. So if we look at the right hand side of the back, at the moment we have what? We have Emerson and then we have Porro. I think those two are good enough. I mean, they've shown themselves to be, you know, to do the business when we asked them to do the business, you know. In Romero's position, probably we need cover. I don't know. I think we have Sanchez at the moment. Sanchez looks like a reborn player under Postecoglou. Perhaps we need an upgrade on that. That's fair enough, you know. On the left hand side of the central defense, we have Van der Ven. You know, Van der Ven can. I mean, we probably need another centre back. I don't know.
Baby oil took Davis apart today. He just tore, and he was toying with Davis today. You know, Baby oil was just toying with Davis today. He took him apart time and time and time again.
I lost Jose for a second there. He's back now. Right, so no, Bissouma had long COVID, according to David Clark, you know, and a serious ankle injury, but will still show more than Richarlison. Well, that's a fair comment. But I mean, what else? Joe Louis and Daniel Levy have been in the process for 23 years. I mean, okay, I get a lot of so this always brings me to this Levy and Spurs debate when it comes to Spurs finances, Spurs, the way we've had to acquire players, the way we've sort of dealt in the transfer market, and the sort of players we've had into the squad. And I think a lot of people blame Daniel Levy for a lot of things, right? But in my view, this is my opinion. I mean, I'm not forcing anyone, right? I think he's done an absolutely fantastic job for the club, and I mean, I'm going to get a lot of comments about this, you know. But I'll tell you why I say I think he's done an absolutely phenomenal job for the club, right?
Sell it to me, Sod. You sell it to me.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember when Daniel Levy came into the club, right? I mean, think of the squad we had then. Think of the players we've had, you know, and think of the teams we were competing against. We were competing against the likes of Liverpool, Manchester City, Man United, Arsenal. City were not in the picture then. City hadn't come to the picture. But we were a mid-table oblivion type club. We were mid-table oblivion. We couldn't compete against the others. We didn't have the resources. We didn't have the stadium. We didn't have the money. So at every opportunity, we were a selling club. Every time we had a big-time player come into our club, Berbatov came, he left. Modric came, he left. Bale came, they left. You know, all of these players that come into the club, they had to go because we had to sell them, you know. And the reason always being that, we don't match their ambition. We don't match the players' ambition. I'm saying, for Christ's sake, you guys play in the same team. You know, it's a team sport. It's not a one man squad. So if you want to also match your ambition, why don't you go and score the goals? Why don't you go and, you know, I mean, win the cups when you're in the position to win the matches? You are the guys on the pitch. It's not Joe Daniel Levy on the pitch. That's the first point. The second point is this, right? We've come from having a 36-seater stadium to having probably one of the best stadiums in the world at the moment. I'm not saying they don't win cups, but they give us that financial base that enable us to be competitive without necessarily having the sugar that like most other teams that we're competing against have. I mean, Man U, I mean, got the Glazers money. They have probably one of the richest clubs in the world. Man City, I mean, obviously no one can compete against them because of the money. Thank God for financial fair play, you know. But when they came in, they were buying players for £50 million. Have you ever seen? I mean, the highest we ever spent for the player was on Ndombele, you know. And look what that got us, you know. I mean, so I'm saying that we've never been able to compete at the sharp end of the transfer market for the top flight players because we just don't have those resources. Either we don't have the resources for the transfer fees, or we can't pay the wages. So, and people say, "Oh, we are the ninth richest club in the world now." Ninth richest in what sense? Is that in revenue or in assets? You know, in terms of revenue, maybe now, but we haven't gotten there. We haven't been there like all the time. All of this time, we've been building gradually to get to this point. And who got us there? ENIC. You know, so it's okay for us to say, oh, we haven't had they haven't been great in transfer market. They haven't given us the sort of players we want, but look at the last three transfer windows. I mean, we had and what's his name, Anthony Conte come in, and look how much money Conte spent. For the very first time in as long as I can remember, we had players in before pre-season. You know, we had more or less everyone in before pre-season. The only player that didn't go was Bissouma because he had long COVID, and just Spence transfer that sort of dragged over the course of the season. I mean, over the course of the transfer at the time. But Conte had every player that he wanted, you know, at the time. I mean, we had, I don't know, I'm just going on. So that's me as far as Levy is concerned. I mean, so when people have a go at him, I just sort of I kind of said to myself, hang on, are we looking at the same finances that we have, or someone just because fans seem to want every good player that's on the cards out there. They want, oh yeah, why didn't we sign that one? Why don't we sign that one? We can't afford them. If you can afford them, we can't afford their wages. You know, so we have to always seem to have to go for the next level. I mean, what's my call? If you had on the sliding scale of A, B, C, we're not going to buy £100 million player. No way. You won't find us buying £100 million player. You don't find us buying £70 million players. Very, very rarely. Because we just can't afford it. I mean, I don't know if I'm making sense.
Right, do you want me to talk about Daniel Levy for you then? I'm not. No. Can I just say I'm not a Levy in, Levy out. I'm not a middle of the road. I just spit it out. I'm not one of these type of people. However, the way that I look at it is, right, when Daniel Levy took over, Tottenham finished 12th in the league. Yeah, 49 points we ended up with that season that he took over. Daniel Levy came in on the 20th of December, 2020. Sorry, 2000. That year, the three relegated clubs were Bradford City, Coventry City, and Manchester City. They were the three relegated clubs that year. Yeah. Now, what I will say about Mr. Levy is, and I'll ask the question is, I've had this very, very burning feeling for the last couple of years, right? And more so when it comes to transfers, is I don't believe who hires the people at Tottenham? Daniel Levy?
Yeah.
Okay, right. So Scott Munn's not through the door, so we haven't got the whatever position he's. We haven't got a DOF, right? And we got a couple of players in early this season. We did that last season as well, by the way, right? But then after that, Levy has to get involved in every single transfer because we don't have a negotiating team. And I'm going to say this till I'm blue in the face. We don't have a negotiating team. Whose fault is that? The hiring and firing is done by Levy. So Levy hasn't got a negotiating team around him. So therefore, Levy has to get involved in absolutely everything. Get his fingers involved in everything. Right. Who's spotting the players? Who have we got as talent ID people? We're lacking in that department as well. That's why other teams pick up players and we don't pick up players at sensible prices because we haven't got a talent ID team. We're trying to build that now, but we haven't got one. Right. David Clark has made a good comment here as well about the stadium, right? Now, if you go to a company's house and you look at the books, right, all the money that
Oh, we lost. I think we lost Jose for a second there. We'll probably try and get him back. Yeah, I mean, do you have a view on this, Folabi?
I have a very strong view on it.
All right, we'd love to hear.
You
We'd
know,
love to hear your view.
my view is a very simple one, and it sort of echoes your own view, Soji. Look, I'm a Levy person. I'm a Daniel Levy person. Now, two things I'll say before I say I am not exactly happy of the current situation of one trophy in 23 years. No, I'm not. I'm not happy about that at all. Of course not. You know, and I'm not saying Daniel Levy has not made mistakes. He's made plenty of mistakes. Who doesn't? I made plenty of mistakes every single day. He appreciates the fact that the bulk stops at his desk. He's the chairman. He makes the decisions. He makes the tough calls. You know, and I would like to go back. Yes, when I compare from when he came in to where we are today, my first argument I always say is we can match. We were not in the top four because of what we've been able to build. You know, remember before it was just the top four. It wasn't even top six. It was just top four. But because we've now been pushing and we've been pushing, the in fact to the top six, it was Spurs and City who now came in.
Yeah.
So they were now all talking about top six.
To
So it was
join
no
that's
longer the top
Arsenal,
four.
Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man United, right?
Yes. You know, and was it last season that they wanted to do that breakaway and have the European Super League?
Yeah, it was. I think it was the season before.
If they had wanted to do that, and they wanted to season before, if they'd wanted to do that, I mean, and they included Spurs, if they'd wanted to do that, let's say 4 or 5 years ago, and do a Super League, be assured Spurs would not have been on the list.
Mm. That's an interesting one.
Spurs
But
would not have been on the list.
before you continue, let's just sort of, I want to try. Do you want to read out this comment from David Clark, and do you want to deal with that comment, Folabi? Can you hear me, Folabi?
I can't see the comments. So
Oh, it's saying Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy built
I can
the
hear you.
stadium.
I can't see the comments.
Sorry, can you see the
I can't
comments?
see the comment. It's very low. It's very. I can see it. It's very tiny on my screen.
Right, okay, but
My
let
phone
me
is
read it
not
out.
big
What
and I
it's
can't
saying is
read
that
it.
okay, let me read it out. It says Joe Lewis and Daniel Levy built the stadium and training ground on Spurs debt, not personal debt, with a long-term low interest rate. So the stadium is not the reason we are miles behind the other clubs. I think David probably I think I disagree with that. But do you want to deal with that comment, and I'll explain why I disagree with that.
No, the stadium negotiation. It was the loan was renegotiated with American banks, American
Right,
consortium. It was renegotiated to about 33 years.
right,
You know, so after this, don't forget this is after the stadium was built
right.
that they did this renegotiation of this loan.
Uh-huh.
So what he now did was we paid off the loan, the original loan, we got another loan to be able to pay off the first loan.
Yeah.
So we got another
Essentially
loan, which is
refinancing,
now for
right?
33 years. Yes, refinancing
Right.
after the stadium had been built.
I think you're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if you can hear. But anyway, so what David is saying is that Joe Lewis and Levi essentially, I mean, got was built that stadium based on debts secured on Tottenham's property, right? And essentially that's not the reason we're struggling today. The stadium is not. It's not. I mean, the stadium is not the reason we're miles behind. If you want to use that expression, right? But so I never said the stadium was the reason we were miles behind. I said the stadium was built for so that it can give us put us in a position where we can compete better than we were able to compete before we had the stadium. From the point of view of additional revenue, right? Secondly, obviously more attractive, and obviously it makes it more, better facilities than what we had before, right? Now, that revenue base is what would put us in a much stronger position going forward, because it makes us a much more competitive team on a sustainable basis. That's the point. Rather than we having to rely on a sugar daddy of sorts to make money available to us to buy players, and then we owe them personal money. This time everything is in quotes Spurs money, and that whole system was built as a result of Daniel Levy's efforts, and that's what I'm saying. Sorry, you want to say something? Did you want to continue? Sorry to interrupt you, Folabi. You were breaking up a little bit. That's why I came in.
So, can you hear me?
Yeah, but it is breaking up a little bit, but I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was saying that Spurs would not have been included in that Super League.
Yeah.
The list. They will not. We will not have been asked to join. I am not the biggest bone of contention with most people of Daniel Levy out is the fact. The biggest one is players that he has not bought, and the other second part of it is he did not back Pochettino. When we had the Ericssons, the Toby and Vertonghen, and Lloris was doing well, and we had that team that got us to, and we had Walker, and we had that team that got us to UCL final. Then Levy did not back Pochettino. That's a lot of people's grush, and I can understand that. That's why I said from the onset, before I started talking of what I like about him, I said he made many mistakes, without a doubt. But overall, what I would say is he has turned Spurs into a football club. Many people might disagree because we've not won any trophies, but we can now match the big boys with their oil money, with their quote unquote oil money, and all. We can match them. Yeah, people seem to forget that we have bought players for 50, 60 million in Dombele. We paid for that. Is it Daniel Levy's fault that the guy has turned out to be lazy and wants to spend his whole day and all night in McDonald's? Is that Daniel Levy's fault?
Oh my God! All right,
no, but it's true now.
Let's move on a little bit. But I know there's still this is sort of moved on into Levy territory. I think this happens anytime we lose a match. Jose, do you want to sort of take this comment on from you? It says Levy and his cronies have built an O2 type arena and gentrified the hell out of Tottenham. If they put as much effort into what goes on the pitch, we will right up there winning things. And that's sort of similar to the statement you made earlier on about the structure around the team, in terms of the scouting, the selection, the decision making in terms of choice of players and stuff like that. Is that right, Jose?
Right, sorry, I'm going to take it back. All right, in 2012, right, because this is where we backed the team and backed the manager. In 2012, Harry Redknapp was our manager.
Right.
Harry Redknapp has gone to the chairman and he said, "I want Carlos Tevez, and I want Gary Cahill. They're the 2 players that he asked for. Who did Daniel Levy get him? Can you remember?
No, remind us.
Okay. He brought in Louis Sahar on a free, and he brought in Nelson from Blackburn, who was 35 years old, New Zealand player, on a free. They're the 2 players he bought when Redknapp said he wanted Carlos Tevez and Gary Cahill. Now, back then, these players didn't cost much money, all right? So, then we've got Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho asked for Bruno Fernandes and Ruben Diaz. This is before they've got signed by the Manchester clubs. And instead of who did Tottenham buy for him? Can you remember? He bought Joe Rodon. He bought Jedson Fernandez in on loan, not Bruno Fernandes, Jedson Fernandez on loan, and also bought in Carlos Vinicius in on loan. That's who Daniel Levy. That's how Daniel Levy backed Jose Mourinho when he asked for players.
Well, that's not entirely true, though. I mean, because when Man United bought Fernandes, we were going for him as well. We were also going for Lo Celso. So it was a toss up between Lo Celso and Fernandes. So we got Lo Celso instead of Fernandes. That's what happened at that time. It wasn't Vinicius Junior. We got Lo Celso instead of.
We bought
55 million for Lo Celso. If I recall,
we bought
55 million.
Lo Celso was bought in under Pochettino's reign. Yeah, and so was Endon Bailey, not under Mourinho's reign.
When we got Lo Celso, we were bidding for Lo Celso. It was either Lo Celso or for Fernandes.
Lo Celso,
I remember very well.
Lo Celso and Endon Bailey were signed under Pochettino, not under Mourinho. They both came in towards the end of Pochettino's tenure. They did not come in under Mourinho. They were already there, Endon Bailey and Lo Celso. They came in definitely under Pochettino.
They did.
Both of them. They did.
They did.
And so when Mourinho asked for Ruben Diaz and Bruno Fernandes, he was given Joe Rodon from Swansea for 14 million because it was a cheaper deal, and we didn't even buy. We bought in Jedson Fernandes on loan. He was 20 years old at the time.
They wouldn't have been asking for Bruno Fernandes when he was already with Man U at the time. He was already with Man U at the time because we got Lo Celso at the same time as Man U bought Fernandes.
No. Fernandes was bought by Man United when Mourinho was Tottenham manager. Lo Celso was bought by Tottenham under Pochettino stewardship towards the end of it. I'm guaranteeing you. Guaranteeing you. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is, we're talking about we spend money, and we have spent money in the past, just not very sensibly. That's the issue, because we don't have, right, and it's when I go again, I'm going to go and repeat this. We don't have, since Paul Mitchell has left the club, we didn't have any proper talent ID scouting network there set up to identify and bring players in. It's always been, let's just buy this, let's just buy that. It's a scattergun approach that's not served us well at all. Now we've got a manager who has a certain way of playing, so therefore, if you're going to buy a player, you're going to buy it for his style. Listen, last year, Conte, that we spent money last year, don't get me wrong. Do you think Boss was a Conte signing? Conte didn't want Boss. Conte didn't want Richarlison. The only player that was bought last season that was rubber stamped by Conte was Perisic. All the other players that were bought last season, and we bought 6 players in last season. Fraser Forster came in as well. We bought 6. The only player that was back, that Conte was backed with, was Perisic. All the other signings were done by Daniel Levy and the club. So all it is although I will say the money spent on Boss is good money, because he's now proving that he's worth the money that we paid and more. But at the end of the day, there is backing the manager and spending the money wisely, which we've not done for many years at Tottenham. The other proof in the pudding is when we sold Gareth Bale and we went and bought 7 players. We bought 7 players that are out there at the time. and the 7 didn't serve us well. They were, a lot of them didn't serve us well at all either. So, you know, at the end of the day, there are people that have structures in place, and I think Chris from Meta Football put something in there. We just don't have the structure at Tottenham, and I think David Clark has said it as well, saying that we've got a board of accountants. They're all accountants on our board. None of them are football people, and what they're doing is they're playing football manager with the club, and they're doing it badly.
Right, David Clark said Joe Louis made a statement in 2001 that every penny that Enoch made will put back into the football side, and that has just not happened. So he lied. Right, right. Leave as an accountant trying to put football manager and doing it very badly, and he's also saying that yes, our best scout Mitchell left because all the good players he found.
They weren't bad. They weren't bought. That's right.
For the club, Liverpool turned them down and went on to sanction players who were not right for our club. Right. Okay. Keep your comments coming in. Would love to hear more from you. The stadium was supposed to be a game changer. The only thing that has changed was football has gotten worse. This is very interesting. Okay, so right, Folabi, any comments for you?
No, I've said my comment on the Daniel Levy matter. I've said my comments.
I think what we need to do is we need to start looking forward. Forget about Daniel Levy and that. I just hope things change, but start looking forward. And looking forward is going beyond tonight's game. And the looking forward is what happens between now and 11 o'clock on Friday night, and then what we do going forward against Burnley at the weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Meta Football TV, thanks for that. It says that Jovan Lo Celso was on loan 2019 to 20, and then it was bought in 2021. Bruno Fernandes was bought in 2021. So I guess we're probably saying the same thing. And Bissouma was bought for 30 million. I think it was 25 million actually, right into 30. But hey, yeah, there you go. You says I don't want to hear about Jose and Conte. We should have Jose and Conte. We should have employed attack-minded managers. I'm sure he was trying to say that because you only could attack. But there you go. Yeah. So keep your comments still coming in. This is Command Spurs TV. Thank you so much for joining us. We're reviewing the match between Tottenham and Fulham. Tottenham ran out 5-3 losers on penalties after the game ended 1-0 at the end of 90 minutes. Postecoglou made 9 changes in the team. The only 2 people who sort of played from the last match were Mickey van der Ven and
Miss Arlison. Miss Arlison, yeah.
Yeah, so those were the only 2 players. I mean, every other, so we had a lineup of Fraser Foster in goal. We had on the right hand side we had Emerson, and then in the middle we had Sanchez, Van de Ven, and on the left hand side we had Davis. And in the middle we had we had Højbjerg, Skip, and Højbjerg, Skip, and who was it? And
Lo Celso,
right. And up front we had Richarlison, Mana Solomon, and Ivan Perisic. Yeah, so yeah, that was the lineup we had for today's match. Ended up, 1-1, and then with the Carabao Cup, you don't have extra time. We went straight to penalties right after 90 minutes, and Fulham scored all the goals, and we had we missed a goal. We missed a penalty taken by Mr. Sanchez. Yeah, so that's how that ended. We're looking forward to the next match. We're away to Burnley, aren't we? Or away to...
Correct, yeah, away to Burnley.
Away at Burnley. Another tough match, so there's no easy matches in the league. So yeah, I mean, we're very much looking forward to that. Yeah, I mean, any comments on what to look forward to? Jose?
I think first of all, before we've got the matter of Burnley, we've got the matter of the the transfer deadline finishing on Friday at 11 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
And by then we will know what is apples and what is apples, what is pears and what is pears, because we'll know what squad we've got, because we need to announce our 25-man squad on Saturday the 2nd of September. Before we play our match at the weekend, we have to announce our 25-man squad, and we'll only know that once we know who's gone out and if we've brought anyone in, and that'll be on Friday. So that's the bigger piece of work that's coming before the Burnley game. Then the Burnley game comes straight after that.
Yeah, fair enough. But as Ange more or less rightly said, this squad is basically too bloated at this point. We had to let our 4 or 5 players go. We've seen or we've heard today that Leeds are taking the young man on loan. That Spence, Alfie Devine has gone on loan. I think it's Port Vale. Was that where he went? Yeah. And then, so I think we'll be looking to shift. Who we're looking to shift? Mr. Ndombele. Probably looking to shift Sanchez. You know, probably I don't know if Dada we're told wants to see out his contract. Listen, his last year of his contract. So that might be no movement in that direction.
Who's that? Sorry, who's that? Soji, last year his contract. Dyer. Okay,
Yeah.
so today, Dyer's been linked with 2 German clubs.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Oh really? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, they're seeing something we're not seeing, you know.
Because I think what's happened is I think because I'm not privy to the conversation, but I think what's happened is that Postecoglou has made it clear to the players that he doesn't want. You can find yourself other clubs. So some of them might have had ideas. You know what? We're going to stick around, but I think it's been made clear that no, we don't want you sticking around. We want you gone. Find yourself other clubs. So I think their agents are busying themselves all around the world touting their players, and it suddenly lands on the doorstep today that there's lots of people, aggregators, saying that Dyer to Bayern and Dyer to Dortmund are 2 possibilities. But they're
So
not the only ones. I mean, at the end of the day, it's one thing about who we'd like to see go out, but it's also as well what's reasonable that will go out before. Because if we've got a squad at the moment, I think we've got a squad of 31 players. We can only have 25, not including under 21s. So bare minimum, you need to trim that squad by 6 players, bare minimum, because you can only name 25. 3 of those players have to be foreign players because we've got 20 non-homegrown, but you can only have 17. So 3 of them players straight away off the bat have to be foreign players. And 3 have to be homegrowns at the moment, unless you're getting rid of more more foreign players. But then also, if we are really serious about bringing more players in on transfer deadline day, then you've got to get rid of more players to actually accommodate the ones that you want to bring in. Unless you're going for Gift Orban, who's under 21, because then he doesn't count towards the 25. But any other player that we've been linked with at the moment is over 21, which means that they'll add to the squad numbers. Does that make sense?
it does. It does. So I mean, the critical thing is we obviously need to let some players go before some others come in. So who are we expecting to come in? I mean, there's rumors that we're being linked with what's that young man's name in the foreign?
Brennan Johnson.
Brendan Johnson. Now, is he any good? I mean, I don't know. I mean, is it me? Well, it just I find it a little bit underwhelming, and we're quoting numbers like 50 million quid. I mean, is he potential or is he that good?
He's 22 years of age, so therefore he has a ceiling, doesn't he?
Right. Okay.
At that young age, he's going to. If you're looking at Mickey Van der Ven and you're looking at a doggy and players like that, they're all very young. They have a ceiling. Yeah. So Brennan Johnson, you're paying the Premiership tax, and also that he has a ceiling. Now, if it's true, and bearing in mind that we're not involved in the conversations, but the aggregators are saying Ange just picked his man, Ange wants him. Well, and Ange sees him as a vital cog. If that is true, if it were true, then and Ange wants him, it's because Ange believes that he can work with him, he can make him a better player, and he can mold him into the system that we play. But again, when it comes to transfer deadline day, and when it comes to the last week of the window, which we're in now, you're going to hear loads of different stories. loads of different stories. We're going to be everybody, not just Tottenham. Everybody's going to be linked with everybody, but we won't know what the actual truth of it anything is until 1 minute past 11 on Friday night.
Right.
But I will ask you, Soji, who do you want to see out of the club? And will it be a loan? Will we sell or will we rip up a contract?
Right. I think Ndombele is probably surplus to requirements at this point in time, even though he's a very skillful player. I like him a lot, but hey, it's unfortunate that he hasn't worked out for us. And it's probably one of those things when we paid the most money for as a record signing. So for me, I think it makes sense for him to go. I mean, it's probably one of our highest earners there.
Will he be sold, loaned, or contract ripped up for Ndombele? What do you think is going to happen with him?
Good question. Now, we had difficulty shifting him on loan even selling him last season, and that hasn't changed over the course. I haven't seen people falling over themselves putting bids for him, but you just never know. I think it's probably going to end up being another loan, or probably going to just buy the bullet and sell for a low transfer fee.
I would accept a low fee for him, rather than loan him out. He's got 2 years left on his deal, and he gets loaned out. If he does what he did at Napoli and he does what he did at Lyon in the 2 previous loans, and just becomes lazy there as well and doesn't do what the managers wish, then they're not going to buy him, and it just means that his value gets devalued more and more and more. So therefore, I would like to see, if you're going to get rid of Ndombele, I would like us to see even a small fee. I'll give him away for free, but if you want to say a small fee, I would not like to see him go out on loan again. I don't think it's worth his while, and I don't think it's worth Tottenham's while.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. So I think one of the disappointing things about Ndombele for me is, of course, I mean, like everyone knows now, it's probably his attitude more than anything else. He's a skillful player, don't get me wrong. And I mean, from every report that you hear and read about what's happening in the Spurs camp, that Ange was prepared to give him a chance, but he actually was coming late for training. I mean, how can you be earning that sort of money and not arrive on time for training? What's that about? It's got to go. I'm sorry, it's got to go. He's more than given enough of a chance. I mean, Folabi, any thoughts on Ndombele?
I have plenty. I have plenty, and none of them are good. He's a damn skillful player. He's a heck of a player. But the funny thing is, Ndombele reminds me a bit like Dembele. When Dembele first arrived under Poch, they had an issue because Dembele arrived overweight,
right?
And Poch put him on a strict diet, which Dembele did not like, and Dembele was a bit lazy when he first arrived. So Poch now put him under his wings. He managed him. He spoke to him, he paddled him and everything. And look at the player he turned out to be. Look at when he lost some weight, the fitness that guy had, the player he became. This Ndombele guy is 6 managers, you've got to remember, right? 6 managers. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not just one manager. It's not just 2 managers. It's 6 managers. He and all the managers say the same thing. Great deal of talent, but lazy. And I personally think that, look, listen, if they don't sell him by Friday, I reckon they'll rip his contract. He's on 200K a week.
Wow.
He said that he wants
10
to come back
10
to
million
Spurs
pounds
and
a
fight
year.
for his place. Is it by coming to training late you're going to fight for your shirt?
But would you rip up his contract for Folabi?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can't hear me.
you're breaking in and out. I mean,
Oh
you're
my
asking,
God.
would you rip
Okay.
up his contract or would you sell him or loan him out? We lost Folabi. Right.
Because what's Soji? That's 20 million pounds.
I know.
He's got two years left on his contract. Rip up his contract. That's 20 million pounds.
I know. It's
You could spend 20. You could spend 20 million pounds on bringing a young talent in. So okay. So what about Lloris? What would you do with Lloris? 1 year left on his contract.
I'll let him go. I mean, you know, but the thing about ripping up contracts is that, I mean, how you gonna rip up his contract? You gotta pay it off. I mean, how do you do that? Just pay him off and let him go and not let him play. I mean, or let him just sit down there and do nothing. How's that gonna work? Or reach some sort of mutual agreement that sort of makes.
Yeah, you could look at a mutual agreement, couldn't you? But or you could loan him for the last year, or you could get a small fee for him, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
So then you've got Reguilon, because Reguilon's been told he's surplus to requirements.
I think
Reguilon has 2 years left on his contract.
Reguilon we can sell, but I think we can sell him off. I mean, we will sell him off. I think there's going to be interest in him. He's still young, so yeah, he probably gets a Spanish club coming for him.
But we've not had any. Yeah, but last year we didn't have any bids for him either, did we? And he went to Atletico on loan, and we had no bids for him last year. I've not seen any bids for him this year either. I've not heard of any bids. I've heard a couple of people interested for loans, but not any bids for him. And we paid £27 million to Real Madrid for him.
Wow. So there you go. So yeah, I mean, so Reguilon, who else?
That don't feature in the plans. Eric Dyer. If he was French and he was called Eric Dyer, he might be worth a lot more money than being plain old Eric Dyer.
Oh dear, we lost Folabi again, right? So before we let's just have a quick look at this. So a few more comments. If we look at the marks for today's match and see if we want to award marks for the players and see how do a bit of player rating if you like. So starting from goalkeeper, right? Foster, out of 10, marks out of 10. What would you give him?
Well, he did nothing wrong, did he? Just didn't save any penalties. Probably a 7.
Okay, Foster is 7. What would you rate Mark Foster for Lobby? We're doing player ratings. Folabi, we're doing player ratings. Can you hear me?
He's on mute.
Your mic is muted, I think. Folabi, I think. What's going on here? Can you hear us? Your mic is muted. Folabi, your mic is muted. Can you hear us?
Yeah, but being muted means he can hear us, but we can't hear him.
Oh, yeah. We can't hear you. All right. Do you want to log out and log back in? Maybe that will work that way, yeah? If you log out and log back in, maybe that will help. Right, marks out of 10. So on the right back, Emerson, what would you rate him?
5.
Okay, I think I'll agree with you there. I think 5 is a bit generous if you ask me for today's performance. Right, Folabi is back. Can you hear you? Can you hear us now? We still can't hear you. I don't know what's going on with you. Your mic seems to have gone muted for some reason. I don't know what's going on. Can you hear us? We can't hear you. We can't hear you for some reason. Right, so Van der Ven, out of 10.
6.
6. I agree with you on that one. Sanchez.
6.
6. I think that's generous for today. I mean, he didn't really do that much. I mean, he got skinned for the first goal. He and Emerson got skinned quite in a very, very poor manner in my view. So yeah, that's probably a 5 would be generous at best for me. Yeah, keep your comments coming in. This Common Spurs TV, we're doing player ratings for the match between Tottenham and Fulham at Craven Cottage tonight. Ended up 1-1 and losing on penalties 5-3 to Fulham. Fulham scored all the penalties and we lost. We missed one penalty. Livingston Sanchez. There's no point taking the last one because they played first. So yeah, we're down to the left back now. Davis. How would you rate him?
5.
5. Folabi, what would you rate him? 4.
He said 4.
I mean, we can't hear you.
I'm lip reading 4.
We're lip reading 4 as well. Okay. While you're trying to fix your connection, your connection will take it 4. Right.
We can work with you, Folabi.
You can work with Folabi, yeah. 4. Okay, that's fine. Right. In the middle of the park, Lo Celso. How would you rate him out of 10?
5.
5. I think I'll rate him 5 for me as well. Is that a 5 as well? Okay, so we've got 5 all around for him. And then, what's that young man's name?
Skip.
Oliver Skip.
4.
I think I'll give him a 4. Falabi's giving a big fat 0.
A 0.
That is evil.
Folabi, you like him then?
That is evil. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. 4. Folabi, 3.
4.
Oh, he's giving 4, okay.
I'm going to give him 5 for Højbjerg.
Alright, I think I'll give him 5 as well. Right, up front, Manasa
Solomon.
Yeah, Mana Solomon.
4, and he's lucky to get a 4.
Yeah, very lucky to get a 4. I think I'll give him a 3, but I'll give him a 4 because of that effort on goal. I was pushed away. Yeah, and then Richarlison.
4.
What would you give him?
Even with his goal.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5 because he's got a goal. Yeah, so that's and then Perisic.
5.
Okay, 5 as well. So yeah, 4 performances all around. Now I've got Dave Clark. David Clark says marked for today's match: Foster 7, VDV 7, the rest a big fat 0.
It's exactly what Meta Football TV said. Both of them said
seriously?
the same thing.
Oh wow. Yeah. Okay.
Further up, he said it. Forster and VDV. Yeah, he said the same
really?
thing.
Okay.
Up. Yeah.
It's got to be April Fool in Germany, right? Because Bayern in for Dyer, Tuchel's gone loopy. Oh goodness. We can't hear you, Folabi, for some reason. I don't know if you want to sort of log out and log back in again.
I said let him go.
Oh
yeah, there I can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
Yes, it just came up. I don't know how. I don't know what's been. It just did it by itself.
Oh wow.
I said let him go. And
Okay.
you know the funny thing, Dyer will do well. Dyer will do well there because their game is different from that EPL game. The speed.
Right, because they're much slower, and yeah, okay, fair enough. Right.
They're saying with his friend. He'll be back with his friend.
They're saying that Bayern are actually looking at Dyer and McTominay.
Wow.
Which means that for me, when you've got people like Musiala, Gravenbach, Goretzka, you've got all these players at Bayern Munich, and you're looking at Scott McTominay, you must have a problem.
That says a lot, eh? Probably something wrong somewhere. But hey, what do I know? They're not my team.
Tuchel I think Tuchel's trying to commit suicide for Bayern.
Well, someone said Bundesliga compared to the Premier League seems like a farmers league. But if that's the case, why have Bayern Munich won the Champions League so many times? I mean, is that an aberration? I mean, what's that about? David says Bayern have come in for Dyer because his best mate Harry Kane has told Bayern that Dyer is a good player.
Exactly. I just said he'll be back with his friend. He'll be back with his mate.
Yeah. Meta Football, thanks for your comments. I'll have Brennan Johnson at Spurs, no problem. But fast, technical, scores goals, versatile, no brainer. Okay, thanks for that. David, thank you for your comments. We really appreciate your comments. You say that football is a byproduct of the stadium. Spurs have to wake up to realize that any greater efforts are put towards the major products like NFL, Formula One, go-karting, boxing, and concerts.
And before I got cut off earlier, a lot earlier, I got cut off when I was trying to make the point saying that all this, what David's put there, right, that goes into a different pot of income. It goes into a different pot than the football side, and therefore there's no direct correlation. But that money that's going into that pot for these things down here does not get reinvested into the football team. Never has done, and I don't believe it never will do either.
Thank you for that. Thanks for your comment, David. David says Ndombele is a failure because Levi never had a good scouting organization in place. The sanctioned 63 million purchase when if they had interviewed his last two coaches, he wouldn't have been purchased.
Yeah, it's correct. His last two coaches turned around and said exactly the same thing. He's really skillful, but he's very lazy. He won't put a shift in for you. He's overweight.
I said it.
He's
That's
everything.
why. I mean, all 6 managers have said it. All 6 managers have said the same thing. That's why I seriously believe they'll rip up his contract. If they don't sell him, they'll rip up his contract and pay him off.
Yeah, but Folabi, if you do that, you have to pay him £20 million because he's got 2 years left, 10 million each season. That means we'll have to rip up and pay him £20 million.
That's
well, sell him for £20 million then.
Who's going to pay 20 million for him?
Oh well, that's the thing.
This is it. So I mean, it's a big shame.
I'll tell you what's interesting and what needs to be thrown into the mix, guys, is that on Friday it'll be the 1st of September, and that's when the European transfer window closes. The Saudi Arabian transfer league doesn't close till the 23rd of September. So that means my thoughts are right that a lot of teams by Saturday, a lot of teams have to announce their 25. So there's going to be players, not just in England, but throughout Europe, there'll be surplus to requirements that haven't been bought yet. And I think that the Saudis will come in and they'll pay smaller money for fees for some of the players just to get them out of your clubs because they can still buy them up to the 23rd. Now, with the Saudis, they've been very, very generous in some of their transfer dealings and what they've been paying out for fees to clubs. Now, I'd say they'll come in, but they'll probably still offer 15 million for players that are not worth 15 million, but they'll still do it. So there could be hope for Tottenham and for other clubs yet that if you haven't got rid of them by transfer deadline day, there may be a possibility the Saudis will come knocking and take them off you in the following 3 weeks. I just hope that if we haven't, I just hope that if we're one of the clubs that struggled, I'm hoping they knock on our door.
All right, thanks for the rating you got on the Meta Football TV. Emerson 4, Sanchez 6, Van der Vel 6.5, Davis 4, Pierre Herbert 5, Skip 3, GLC 5, Solomon 5, Richie. Oh, wow, you're giving someone 5, Richie 5, and Perisic 5. I think you're very generous, you know.
Chris, let me tell you, mate, and I said this earlier, and I said it to Soji off camera before we come on. Solomon, I've been hearing everyone rave about him and telling me that he's this, that, and the other. I was never sold on him when he first came, and as a winger, I believe there's better prospects out there than Solomon. Solomon may turn into being a good winger, but it's going to take him at least 2 years in my eyes, because tonight I didn't see a player that would go past players, and that was against Fulham, and he weren't going past no one. So, yeah, I'm not sold on him, to be honest.
Right, that's a good fair point. So why are Spurs the only club in the world that can't sell their players, all right? And it's because Levi, who sanctioned all these deadwood players and not others that would have been a success. Interesting. That's an interesting perspective. Right, today's scores, according to Dave Clark, it says big positive. We've said that before. Van der Vaart. Now, not too generous. Not too generous for Skip. Skip -6, and Sanchez -6. Oh my god. And Meta Football TV says Tuchel needs a medical. You know, Bayern Munich have four. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Right, Bayern Munich have 3 world-class centre backs, and one of them can't get a game, so they need dire, like they need powers. Oh my gosh.
And the funny thing is, the Germans generally always have strong national team.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
Am
There
I
you go.
frozen again?
Absolutely. So I mean, the meta football, the best meta football I know, do nothing and get paid heaps. Right there you go. David Clark, you're right. You can't remember. You can't terminate players' contracts without their consent. It's illegal. That's correct. I mean, so yeah, you got to pay it off. You know. I agree about Solomon. It mistook him 5 button for 3.75. 3.75 button. Matt, thanks. Thanks for joining us. My thoughts on Scarlett. It's thought he battled hard and every match looked very much the part. I didn't see much from him to be honest, but apart from running around quite a bit, he had a chance that fell to him. Maybe he wasn't paying too much attention from the Mount Solomon cross that came to him, and he wasn't able to sort of turn it in. But so Mount Solomon shot rather, yeah. So I guess first game out. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's understandable. Young lad, so I guess he will come good. Yeah, those are my thoughts. Any thoughts on Malasol on Dan Scarlett? Jose.
I think Dane Scarlett. I watched him in the World Cup, the Under-20s World Cup. I watched Alfie Devine as well in the Under-20s World Cup. I watched Alex Scott in the Under-20s World Cup. So I watched the Under-20s World Cup, which was played in Argentina. It was on about 6 to 8 weeks ago, and
Yeah.
I watched it. And Devine looked really good. Devine looked really, really, really good. Scarlett looked to me like a different player. He looked like a boy when he went to Portsmouth. But looking at him now and looking at him in the World Cup, he looked like a man. So he's actually put weight on. He's put weight on. He's bulked up. He's got bigger. So therefore he can battle against defenders and that. I think it's quite a weird one for Scarlett today because normally you play with one through the middle and the 2 wingers out wide. But when he made the change today, it appeared that 2 were going through the middle, Scarlett and Richie. And it's unfortunate because they were both making the same runs, I felt. However, what I will say is that Brazil's number 9 can't trap a ball. Scarlett can. Scarlett has a better first touch than um, Richarlison. I'm just hoping that Ancelotti comes in for him before Friday.
Right.
So I would give Scarlett a chance. But then also as well, Alejo Velith, who we bought, the youngster from Rosario Central, if we've bought him in, and I'd get him involved with the first team, with the training and everything, and bring him up to speed and try to get him involved sooner rather than later. We haven't seen the boy play, however, I'm hoping that he's got a better first touch as well than Richarlison.
Listen, Richarlison will come good, guys. We'll have to have a chat about this at the end of the season. I mean, I'm placing my bets on Richarlison doing really well at the end of the season. So yes, we'll come. I think Richarlison will score at least 20 goals by the end of the season. You know, I'm gonna put my place a bet on that. You know.
So the other thing is for the Burnley game, I'm going to throw it in there now. I saw a lot of people commenting on different streams straight after the game, saying that Mickey van der Ven was limping at the end of the game when they were taking the penalties and that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay, so we were looking at Burnley's game looking at Burnley's game. I'm hoping that he's a bit like Maddison and that he's given a protective boot and it does its magic for us and that he's available for the weekend. Because at the moment, the way that we sit here now talking tonight, without knowing and not having the crystal ball to see what happens between now and the end of the transfer window, I said earlier that I believe that we look light in the sense that we played 9 players today and we look awfully light. So if we get injuries or people go on to play in their national tournaments and that, unless we put players in there, we look very light. Van der Ven goes missing. If Van der Ven's injured for the weekend game, who do you play alongside Romero?
That's a good point.
You got
Probably
you got Sanchez, who supposedly we're trying to get rid of. Tanganga supposedly we're trying to get rid of. We're trying to get rid of Dyer as well. That don't leave many centre halves, does it?
no.
Unless you're going to bring the young boy Ashley Phillips from the under 19 under 21s into the first team, because I'd rather have someone like that than have Ben Davies playing left centre back for me.
That's interesting. Right, keep your comments coming in. Tell us what you think. In terms of if Van de Ven was actually injured today, who would you bring in alongside Romero? Would you bring in Davies, or would you, if Sanchez remains, would you have Sanchez there alongside? I hope we have centre back in alongside. Probably one of new. I mean, a few we have coming in, or what they call the transfer window. I mean, we've had a look briefly at potential outgoings this transfer window, and we reckon that Dembele will leave. We reckon that Sanchez may leave. We're not sure about that, but it's a possibility. There's also a strong possibility that, of course, that what's the young man's name? Um, that Spence is going to be on loan to Leeds United, and the young man on the left hand side, Regulon, Sergio Regulon, probably another departure at the end of this transfer window. Now, we didn't say anything about Brown here. I know he's injured. Is he going to be part of the plans, or is he going to, go out on loan? What's going to happen to Brown here?
I
think
think if someone
Go
took a risk on Hill being injured, because this is the variables that you have. He's currently injured. If someone came in and took a leap of faith with his injury, I think Tottenham would definitely loan him out, or even sell him. But I don't think you're going to get a sellable. I don't think you're going to get a fee, because I don't think someone's going to bid for him to buy him. But I think someone may take a punt on the loan. Same as Ryan Sessegnon. Ryan Sessegnon's another one. With his injury, I don't think people would come in to buy the players with the injuries. But if they're prepared to take a leap of faith, they may ask to loan our players. But you're bearing in mind that they're injured. Can I just say also that today Tottenham turned down a bid for Sanchez from a Turkish club. They came in and they bid 9 million euros, and Tottenham turned it down today.
Oh, wow.
And whoever the Turkish club was, it's believed.
Yeah, I saw that this morning.
Is it a Turkish club, or was it Rennes, the French club?
I don't know. I haven't seen that report.
It's a Turkish.
Is it a Turkish team? Okay, well, whatever team it was, they turned down 9 million today. But the team that they turned down are expected to come in with a new bid for him.
Right. Okay. So there's going to be a lot happening between now and Friday at the close of the transfer window. We look forward to seeing that. We're expecting. And who do we think is going to come in? Another central defender and a striker, or just one of each, or both?
But
So
if you're gonna,
either or both. What do you reckon?
But if you're going to get it right, if the stories, and like I said, we don't know the conversations, but we can clearly tell that Postecoglou obviously doesn't want Dyer, because he's been in none of the squads, including tonight as well. He clearly doesn't want Tanganga, because Tanganga's been in none of the 4 squads either.
Yeah, didn't really think of that. Yeah,
so therefore, Postecoglou is not silly. And if you're looking at just them 2 players alone, and you're not looking at Sanchez, but you're looking at them 2 players alone, then if you're losing 2 centre backs, you definitely need to bring at least 1 centre back in.
Oh yeah, okay, great.
You have to. You have to. If
Exactly.
people are talking about getting rid of Højbjerg, right? If you get rid of Højbjerg, you must have a centre midfielder prepared and already primed to bring in, because otherwise, in that midfield, we're going to be very light, because we lose Pap Sarr and the boss to the AFCON in January.
Absolutely.
And that would leave us. And who does that leave us in midfield? That leaves us a one-legged Bentancur, Skip, and who else? Madison, Lo Celso. They're the only 4 players you can have left. We're going to be very light. So it's all good and saying who's going to go, who's going to go. And like I said earlier, 6 players have got to go if we can. But if you're going to get rid of, if you're going to bring in any players, then you've got to fit them into that squad of 25. So it means that you might need to get rid of more players.
Absolutely.
Chris from Meta Football TV said it was actually Ren that offered the 9 million this morning, and it was
Right,
rejected.
okay, yeah. So yeah, that was Ren. Oh, thanks for that. Right, thanks for joining us today. We're wrapping this up now. So final thoughts. Overall, what did you think?
I trust in Ange Postecoglou still.
Good.
And like I said at the start of the show, win, lose or draw, it's his decision, and he's not going to get it right all the time. But for me, in the back of my mind, or sorry, in the front of my mind, we didn't lose today. Yes, penalties, but we actually drew the game, so we're still undefeated.
Thanks for that, Folabi. Final thoughts.
As I go back to my own, is the performance, the players, the performance, and I think I'm glad it's at this early point of the season. Yes, we're out of the cup, but I'm glad it's at this early point of the season. So now basically he's seen all the players. Okay, so now he knows what he wants and what he doesn't want. Is there. So that's why I said early point of the season. I'm glad he would have learned. We've seen what we've seen. He would have seen even more than we have seen, and he'll now know exactly who he feels he can trust and who he feels that he can't trust more than before today even. So those are the lessons that I feel that, I mean, those are the positives that I take from this game going forward. I mean, I saw him on the touchline screaming and screaming at those front three to get forward, to get stuck in. Don't allow them to be bullied. Don't allow yourselves to be bullied. Get stuck in. I just saw him. So I mean, obviously Saturday we're going to see many changes. We're going to go back to our first team, and I think lessons learned all round. Lessons learned all round.
Well, thanks very much for that, both of you. Yeah, from my perspective, I think the key is it's still very much early days of handball. Like I said, he wanted to give other players a chance to see who he could trust, and he could see very clearly where those areas of challenges are or can be, and sort of give the opportunity to make relevant changes going forward. But it's a good lesson if you like you said, we didn't lose. We lost some penalties, if not a comfort, But all right, so yeah, we didn't lose in open play, but sometimes penalties as well also count towards mentality building and winning as well. And I guess it's one of those lotteries as well, because you could go either way. So that's for me. I like you. I'm not really bothered from that perspective. It's disappointing that we didn't get through that difficult time, and I mean I think he would have learned a good lesson from point of view of making wholesale changes. I mean, if he had the chance to sort of go through that again, he wouldn't make all those wholesale changes in one go going forward. But yeah, that's a good learning curve on his part, and for us all as well. Yeah.
And the other thing for me tonight is highlighted is that for at least the next summer transfer window, if you're going to lose Lloris and you don't have any trust in Whiteman or Austin, the two backup goalkeepers, because Postecoglou turned around and said quite clearly in his interview earlier on this week, there's I will not pick 3 goalkeepers in my squad for the season, is what he said. So therefore, tonight showed me that we definitely have to look for another goalkeeper for next summer, because Foster does not fill me with confidence.
Okay, fair enough. Right, guys, I appreciate you coming on. Jose, thank you so much. Folabi, absolutely fantastic having both of you. It's been nice, lovely, and yeah, come on, you Spurs. We look forward to the next match against Burnley away on Saturday, 3 p.m. kickoff. Join us at 5:30. Not 5:30, so no, it's actually 5:45 for the live stream for that one, and we'll see you. Take good care.
Can I say thank you Folabi and thank you Soji for having me, and thank you for your company and your great opinions and great views, chaps.
Thank
you so much.
you. I'm really nice meeting you.
Great stuff. Thank you. Bye bye now. Come on, you Spurs.
Thanks. I really enjoyed meeting you, and I love some of all your comments. Huh?
Likewise.
We'll see you on Saturday.